You subscribe to our YouTube channel.
The race for Champions League football is heating up. The Premier League has just produced a series of shock results that have shaken up the top of the table. And now, all eyes are on a crucial clash. Newcastle versus Chelsea at St. James's Park. Newcastle currently sit in 4th place. Just one goal ahead of Chelsea, who are lurking in 5th place. With 66 goals scored to 62, both teams are level on points. One mistake could spell doom. A shock result came at St. Mary's S, where relegated Southampton unexpectedly held a Manchester City to a 0-0 draw. The result meant City failed to move away and tightened the race for the top 3. Meanwhile, Newcastle's hopes of seeing Aston Villa slip up were dashed, as Ollie Watkins scored a narrow 1-0 winner against Bournemouth. As a result, the race for the top 7 is now officially locked in place. Villa move up to 6th, while Nottingham Forest drop to 7th. And now, Newcastle versus Chelsea is more than just another match. It's an unofficial Champions League final. A win would take them to 3rd on 66 points. One ahead of Manchester City and clear of Chelsea and Villa. But a draw or worse, a loss, would see the Magpies and Blues drop out of the top 4. Chelsea themselves will come into the game in high spirits. After rotating their squad in the final Europa Conference League game, they will be fit and hungry. But the biggest advantage lies in Newcastle, playing at home in front of a St. James's Park crowd, where they thrashed Chelsea 4-1 last season and knocked them out of the Carabao Cup 2-0 in October. This is more than just a game. It's a do-or-die Champions League clash. Who is stronger? Who is better prepared? And who can win under this much pressure? We'll find out in this afternoon's scintillating clash.
You subscribe to our YouTube channel.
The deciding match. Chelsea and Newcastle will clash in a match that could determine who will qualify for next season's Champions League. But before the ball was even rolled, drama had already occurred off the pitch. Enzo Maresca openly complained about the kickoff time, which was considered not ideal. The match against Newcastle was scheduled for 12 noon UK time, just 2 days after Chelsea appeared in the Conference League. Not a friendly time, especially for a match of this magnitude. This is a match played very early in the morning. The conditions are far from ideal, but we have to adapt quickly. Newcastle, aggressive, physically strong, and often play man-to-man. We have to be ready, said Maresca. The match was previously scheduled to be played on Saturday afternoon, but was postponed for broadcast purposes and the European schedule. As a result, Maresca had to rack his brains to prepare the team in a short time. Meanwhile, Eddie Howe did not want to get caught up in the drama. The Newcastle coach instead asked the St. James Park crowd to be their main weapon. I know, it's an unusual kickoff, but we need a great atmosphere from the start. It's a massive game. Probably the biggest of the season since the Carabao final, Howe said. The two teams are now 4th and 5th in the table with the same points and goal difference. A win could see them through to the Champions League. A defeat could mean European dreams are over for the rest of the season. One thing is for sure, it's going to be a hot afternoon at St. James's Park. And we all know that when the atmosphere is on fire, whoever is best prepared will survive.
You subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Chelsea's transfer drama is getting more complicated. Axel Disasi, who was loaned to Aston Villa, has now officially rejected the opportunity to be made permanent. The Villains are said to be not interested in buying the French defender this summer, even though he was previously predicted to be a new pillar of Unai Emery's backline. In fact, Villa has paid £5 million to borrow Disasi until the end of the season, but without a purchase option. And now, after 10 less than convincing appearances, Unai Emery considers Disasi not to be part of his long-term project. This situation has Chelsea in a quandary. They have decided to make a major overhaul of the back line. Names such as Trevoh Chalobah, Renato Vega, and Benoit Badiashile are also on the transfer list. Even Wesley Fofana could be released if his injury condition does not improve. The problem is, Disasi is still tied to a long contract until 2029, but with inconsistent performance, his chances of shining again at Stamford Bridge are relatively small. Chelsea must now move quickly to find a new club to accommodate him before the summer transfer window actually opens. The implication is clear. Chelsea are ready to wipe out their backline and rebuild from scratch. But before that, they must find a way out for the players they no longer want, including Axel Disasi.
You subscribe to our YouTube channel.
The Premier League is entering its hottest phase, and Newcastle's match against Chelsea at St. James' Park is one of the biggest turning points in the fight for a Champions League ticket this season. Both teams are currently tied on points in 4th and 5th positions. Newcastle are ahead only on goal difference. Kickoff is scheduled for 12 noon UK time and will be broadcast live on TNT Sports 1 and streaming via Discovery+. But what is most awaited is not just the broadcast, but the tension of the match, which is sure to boil. In terms of player absences, Newcastle are missing several important names: Lewis Hall, Lascelles, Targett, and Joe Linton. Meanwhile, Chelsea are also limping without Wesley Fofana and Nkunku, Modric, who are suspended, and several others are still doubtful. Predicted lineup: Newcastle will appear with a 4-3-3 formation. Pope, Trippier, Schär, Byrne, Livramento, Tonali, Guimaraes, Willock, Gordon, Isak, Barnes. Chelsea's with a 4-2-3-1 formation. Sanchez, Caicedo, Chalobah, Colwill, Cucurella, Lavia, Fernandes, Madueke, Palmer, Neto, Jackson. In terms of performance, Chelsea are on the rise. They have just advanced to the UEFA Conference League final after crushing Djurgården with an aggregate of 5-1. Previously, they also humiliated Liverpool 3-1, beating Fulham and Everton. Chelsea are now confident in looking at tickets to the Champions League next season. Newcastle coach Eddie Howe admitted that Chelsea are not easy opponents. The previous meeting at Stamford Bridge was one of our toughest games this season. They are very good, he said. Enzo Maresca did not underestimate either. Despite complaining about the tight schedule, he said, "This is like the last game of the season, and we have to give everything." And here's the reality. For both teams, this is a life and death match. Whoever wins will have full control towards the top 4. Whoever loses could be eliminated from Europe's elite zone. This match is not just about 3 points. It's about pride, the future, and the chance to return to the biggest stage, the Champions League.
You subscribe to our YouTube channel. You subscribe to our YouTube channel.